fair access across the country, no matter where they live.
The honourable member for Lethbridge.
Whether it's home heating, groceries, or gasoline, Canadians are finding it extremely difficult just to be able to make ends meet. And while I'm concerned for all Canadians, there is one group in particular that has my heart, and that is those who live on a fixed income. Because at the end of the day, as prices go up, they don't have the ability to create a greater income for themselves, which puts them in a place of trouble. And many are living on the edge of poverty, which is not okay. So my question is very simple, and that is this. Will the Liberals demonstrate a bit of compassion today and commit to stopping their out-of-control inflationary spending spree and stop their punitive tax hikes on those who are finding it hard to make ends?
The Honourable Minister for Seniors.
Let's look at the facts. The fact is, when the Conservative Party was in power, their plan for seniors was to raise the age of retirement to 67. Yes, the first thing we did, Mr. Speaker, we reversed that back to 65. The fact is, Mr. Speaker, the party opposite opposed every single measure that we put forward to support seniors. The increase to the GIS, the increase to the old age security by 10%, our enhancements to the CPP, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, we've just moved forward on doubling the GST credit with the payments going out this Friday. We're moving forward on rental and dental support, Mr. Speaker. On this side of the House, we're going to continue to deliver for Canadians, including seniors.
The honourable member for Lethbridge.
I don't think there is much hope in there for Canadians, so let me ask again. It's no secret that Canadians are struggling to be able to make ends meet. Just putting healthy food on their table is a struggle. We know that the number of Canadians going to food banks is skyrocketing. Meanwhile, the Prime Minister has no problem jet-setting around the world or spending $6,000 a night on hotel rooms. So again, I would ask, please come back down to reality. Would this government stop its punitive tax hikes and its out-of-control inflationary spending in order to make sure that Canadians can afford to live?
The Honourable Government House Leader.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And indeed, across the world, the problem of making ends meet and paying bills is being felt profoundly. What is irresponsible is to say that those are struggling, that you're going to amplify their fears and anxieties, that you're going to mislead them about their situation. And let's talk about inflation. When Canada has one of the lower rates in the world on inflation, that isn't acceptable. That doesn't help pay the bills. But I'll tell you what does is concrete actions on affordability. What doesn't help, Mr. Speaker, is amplifying an anxiety and giving no answers. And unfortunately, that's what we hear from the other side.
The honourable member for Simcoe North.
Mr. Speaker, it's Halloween and Canadians are spooked. They're spooked by having to pay 28% more for costumes and candy, and spooked to this government's indifference about the inflation crisis, which they just wave away as being globally brought into this country. Except the central bank governor has said inflation is now more of a homegrown problem, and Mark Carney agrees with him, the former central bank governor. So will this government show some compassion, reduce its inflationary spending, and put a pause on its tax hikes?
Great question. The Honourable Minister of Immigration.
Mr. Speaker, I've met people in my community who won't take their kids to the grocery store right now because they're afraid that the cashier is going to tell them that they can't afford what's in their cart and they don't want their kids to go through that. We are going to be there to support families in that situation. When they talk about tax hikes, Mr. Speaker, they're talking about programs like the Canada Pension Plan and like EI. There are people in my community who depend on EI when they fall on tough times. There are people who have worked their entire lives to make sure the Canada Pension Plan would allow them to age with dignity and buy groceries in retirement. We will defend low-income families today and every day. It's nice to see that they finally speak to the issues. It'd be better if they actually voted for measures to achieve those ends.
The Honourable member for